This week, Justice Musa Sekana ruled that the Kampala Capital City Authority must take steps to rename the streets of Kampala, ensuring that the new names reflect Ugandan culture, heritage and values. This ruling is the result of a years-long campaign, which began with a 2020 petition by human rights activist John Sempebwa. Sempebwa argued that the continued use of colonial-era names on Uganda's streets was a violation of the country's dignity and a reminder of its colonial past. The petition received support from over 5,800 Ugandans who agreed that the current street names contradict the nation's post-independence transformation. For instance, in Nakasero, there is a road named after Gerard Poto, who in April of 1893 took down the flag of the British East African Company and raised the Union Jack instead. This ruling calls for KCCA to involve the public in the renaming process, ensuring it is inclusive and aligns with the Kampala City Authority naming guidelines of 2017. KCCA spokesperson Daniel Noebine welcomed the idea.
The ruling by Justice Sekana comes at the right time and to further affirm our efforts in the city road naming and house numbering efforts. In 2017, the council approved the road name, the Kampala City road naming guidelines, and these show or spell out what it entails to name a road. When you look at Sir Apollo Kagwa or Apollo Kagwa, you're looking at liberation, you're looking at self-determination as Ugandans, as Africans. When you look at Poto, you look at subduing, you look at colonization, you look at containing you.
Israel Mayengo, a senior citizen, explained why many streets were named after pre-independence figures.
If you found a street in Kampala that's given the name of Stanley, Model Stanley, you remember that Stanley claims that he discovered in Uganda. It's just a claim. We all knew it was here.
The Ugandans we spoke to, especially those in the transport sector, have varied responses.
We shouldn't be using names of foreigners because many did not go to school, henceforth not being able to even pronounce those names rightly.
Renaming the streets is not bad, but it is going to confuse us because we are used to the old naming.
That when we begin to phase out some of those names, in the first place, some of them did not do such plausible jobs that we can say that they cannot be forgotten. For example, the European who first headed Makerere College before it became a university. If you found a street on Makerere called Professor Bunsen, you will say, it's important to remember him at Makerere.
They also pointed out that some street names, particularly different types of roads, lack clarity. For example, the distinction between avenues and roads, where an avenue is a wide roadway typically lined with trees, needs further explanation. While it is unclear when this process will begin, Nuebine had this to say according to the KCCA road naming guidelines of 2017.
And the KCCA Act, through the house numbering and road naming guidelines, provides for a road being named according to the aspirations of the people. The community will submit to the division council. Once it has authorized, the physical planning presents it to the authority council. Once it is passed, this name is taken back to the community, and a nameplate like that is issued in the community.
It's also worth noting that during Idi Amin's reign, he renamed several roads after prominent African figures. However, these changes were reversed after his overthrow.
That Idi Amin, in a simple way, changed some of the streets in Kampala and renamed them after the famous people he knew to be in Africa. He gave one street the name of Bokassa, at the time when Emperor Bokassa was still well known in the Central African Republic. he changed one name to one street to Nkuruma Road. I think it was called Hadina Visram at that time.
The court's ruling is viewed as a pivotal moment in Uganda's ongoing effort to break free from colonial legacies. It also mirrors similar efforts in other African countries such as Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, which have undertaken similar initiatives. Arafat Shafiq, NTV.